Hello there. Well, we're back. Remote learning. I didn't want this, but here we are. So we're going to do the best we possibly can and make sure that we don't waste the time. I figure about 4 to 5 weeks. Okay, so get used to that and we'll try and make things work. Now, from last time, the big changes are really such. I'll show you. In your packs, you received a communication plan for grade 6. Now this has a Zoom meeting on Monday afternoons. It has a Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock Tuesday, 10 o'clock Wednesday, 10 o'clock Friday. Mrs. Green's Zoom meetings are also occurring on Wednesday afternoons and her groups are there. Now that came in your pack and it came in that first couple of pages. It's got a back on it because you can take this out of your pack and put it on the fridge and that way keep an eye on it. For every one of these meetings you'll get an invitation. It'll go on for 5 weeks. The thing about the meetings is Wednesday's the one I really want you to attend. The others are up to you. You'll get your packs. Monday you'll start working on them. You'll look at them and say, you know what, I'm fine. I don't need any extra help on this. But some might say, oh, I don't quite get that. So Monday afternoon you'll drop into the Zoom meeting and you'll have a chat and we'll find out where you're a bit short. Pretty simple. Just like last time, the work's set out. I'll give you a little explanation of what's going on. Then, of course, I have a piece of reading material. This time it's about the Big Bang Theory. Notice I said theory. It seems to be what most scientists are thinking our universe started from, our life started from. There are many people with other ideas on that, but for our intents and purposes, we're just going to read about the Big Bang Theory, and that's on that page, and then we'll do our word study about it. Now, as I've said in the instructions, when you get your work, it doesn't mean you have to sit there and just plough through it and not take a breath. Set your work out in goals. So on the first day you might like to do the first part of word study or get down to the word domino and then do the other bits from that. I want everyone to, on the first thing they do for language and for the week is to read this piece of information because it tells us all about what we're studying for that week. It also will give you ideas and things for when you're answering questions in the second part of word study. Now after word study, and as I said, it could take you 4 or 5 days to do word study. That's fine. After word study, I've got some handwriting sheets. Pretty simple, 2 pages worth. I'm not there to correct it, but Mum or Dad can have a look at it. If it looks like a chook's had a moment on the page, you need to do it again. 2 pages each week over the next few weeks. I found something that I thought you might find interesting, accidental discoveries in science. And it's just a little bit of stuff to have a bit of fun with learning about. After that, we move into that old favourite of ours, maths, and we move into fractions. Now the first 4 pages for the easier stuff is pretty simple stuff, and what I'm talking about really is equivalent fractions. And that is where we look at a fraction as not just being one value. That sounds a bit confusing, doesn't it? But we know this fraction. We've all seen it before. Look at it, it's a half. It's this. If you read a fraction properly, it's 1 divided by 2 equal parts. 1 equal part divided by 2 equal parts, or 1 equal part out of 2 equal parts. 1 equal part out of 2 equal parts. That's what a fraction is. That's how we should look at it. This tells us how many parts we chop it up into, the denominator, and this tells us how many of those parts we've got, the numerator. Pretty simple. An equivalent fraction is if I have a half, how many quarters are in a half? Now I'll get the pizza there, and we can see that in half a pizza there are 2/4. 1, 2. And that's the picture that shows us how everything works. Pretty simple. That's just a message I've got. Probably someone reminding me Collingwood belted Geelong last night. But, I don't want to bring that up because, there might be Geelong supporters in the audience and we don't want them to be upset. Well, actually we do. It's good. Anyway, let's get back to fractions. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. We can see that, can't we? Pretty simple. Whenever I think about things like this, I think about the best way to explain it with children is about food, because they love food. I often wonder whether people sometimes think, 1/2 or 1/4, what's bigger? Because 4's bigger than 2, but 4 is actually what we cut our whole pizza up into, 4 pieces. If I cut it up into 4 pieces and take 1, or I cut it up into 2 pieces and take 1, we know which one's bigger. So as the denominator gets smaller, the fraction is actually bigger of the whole. Now equivalent fractions are running over the next few sheets, and they're showing you bars, they're showing you a whole lot of things. Here's the secret to it. 3/7 is the fraction. 3 parts out of 7 equal parts. We don't often see 7ths as a fraction, but they're around. What do I do to that to get to that? I times it by 3. What am I going to do to that to get to that? I'm going to times that by 3. So the answer would be 9/21. It's not that hard. Whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Do the same, and it will say equivalent. The word equivalent, we know it's going to be sort of the same as or equal because it starts with equal. Equivalent. Now you're going to work your way through those. There's a whole lot of different lines in them, and those people that do the easier stuff first might even want to have a crack at the harder stuff, because it actually doesn't get really hard until you get down to the end. So I'm back again. That was just a phone call about my grandchild that's on the way. Pretty exciting stuff, isn't it? Now we'll go back to this. Equivalent fractions are quite simple. The work you go through will make it quite easy. It's got lots of examples and lots of pictures and things, but if you're not sure, when I open up those Zoom meetings, come on, and when I say to hang around to the end and whatever and ask you questions, I'll be able to show you what's going on then. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Now, the biggest thing I want you to try and aim for this time around is to be nice and organised. And when you get your booklet, pick, right, I'm going to do to there on Monday for that, and to there on Monday for that, and so on, and put some lines on the page. So you set yourself some good goals. That will be the way to go. If you're not sure about anything, a Zoom meeting, that's when they're there to ask questions. They're there to tell us what's going on. Okay, sometimes our Zoom meetings are going to have some prizes for people that are well dressed and all that sort of stuff like that. Special hats, funny noses, things like that. We'll have a bit of fun with it, but at the same time, we want to make sure we don't waste this time. I guess projects, trips around Australia, they'll all be postponed now. I won't expect the trip around Australia probably until we get back, which will be 5 weeks. I will expect the migrant project in the first few weeks, and all of the dates are in the booklet. If they're not, I'll let you know as soon as we go. The migrant project I want very soon. Okay. I also want, and this is quite important, I also want you to make sure that you're keeping up with your normal projects. Okay. The term 2 project will be due in 3 weeks. Sorry, that's wrong. In the 3rd week, in 2 weeks on a Friday. I'll give you more dates and times and things, but they're things to put in your timetable as well. If I was you, I would get a piece of paper with some columns, what you're going to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And why am I saying just do it, just do this? Because you need to have a think about this yourself. You need to come up with a few ideas yourself. I'm not always going to be around to tell you what to do. Next year I certainly won't be. So make sure you start to think about how you're going to organise yourself. It's absolutely no good if you have to have someone telling you what to do all the time. Have a think about these things yourself. Okay? Our next Zoom meeting will be Monday afternoon. You're probably getting this Monday morning, so you'll have your booklet. You'll be able to go through it, see the things I've spoken about, and start planning out your week. Spend half an hour planning out your week. Yep, I'm going to do up to there. Yep, oh, I'll do that to there. Yep, I'll do this. Then I've got time for projects on that day and that day. You know, on the front page it's got a little planner. The mornings for literacy and numeracy, and the afternoons for projects and things like that. Also make sure you get plenty of exercise. No sitting at home and going pale. Get outside. Run around a bit. Chase the dog. Let the dog chase you. Tie a chopper around your neck if it won't chase you. It'll chase you then. Alright, I'll finish there. As I see fit, I'll put more of these up, but there'll certainly be one up on every Monday morning. Alrighty? Have fun. And enjoy the work. You won't get it all done, and if you do get it all done, grouse. If you don't, well, have you done your best? It's always a good question to ask, have you done your best? I will say that our photos look all right. Our class photo looks okay. Obviously, I'm looking fantastic on the end. Mrs. Green looks pretty good too. Most of you guys look okay. We're saving your graduation until later. Alrighty. Enjoy yourself.